in the zone, 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 podcast, in the zone, in the zone, in the zone, podcast, in the zone, in the zone, in the zone, podcast, in the zone, in the zone, in the zone, podcast, in the zone, in the zone, in the zone, podcast, 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 in the zone, in the zone, in the zone, podcast, in the zone, in the zone, in the zone, podcast, in the zone, in the zone, in the zone, podcast, in the zone, in the zone, in the zone, podcast, 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 in the zone.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the In the Zone podcast. This is your boy, B. Foster. Brian Foster's in the building! Hey, listen, I'm sorry again. We had a touch of technical difficulty and a touch of me drinking, so we are a touch behind.
Say Brian's a little litty today.
Oh, you haven't seen me in this rare form in quite some time, good people.
I'm sorry in advance.
Sit back and enjoy. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday. We are happy to have another episode. We are coming up, the anniversary, 4 years of the In the Zone podcast. Super excited. We're going to have a special episode. It's not till 2025, but this is a special preview, kind of drop the mic situation right now. On my left, as always, my homegirl with her grandmama's sweater on.
Do I talk shit about your pink and yellow suits?
You could.
I let you live, don't I?
You do.
Because you know them motherfuckers look good. My girl Chantel, what's happening, baby?
What is this? You know what? I'm gonna let the circus keep on. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
Because this anniversary show we ain't talked about.
Don't worry about it. That was the anniversary, not for another 4 months. You see how soon I dropped that?
4 months. Our anniversary is in January.
February.
Okay.
Do the math, homegirl.
Okay.
Do the math, grandma.
It's not like I know when I arrived, but I know.
No. The show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The show existed before you, sugar.
It didn't.
Anyway, you all know the topic. A lot of you all were texting and calling and DM me about it. I know you're excited about it. We're going to have a conversation. We've got a surprise panelist, and two you already knew we're going to be here. We are extra excited to talk about this show. This is going to be a good one. On my far left, one of my favorite people, not just for In the Zone, one of my favorite people, period. She hasn't been on in a minute. She's been doing a thing, but this is my cousin, J-Time. What's happening, baby?
Welcome back.
Long overdue.
And you came on a good night with both me and Brian are drunk, so.
You ain't drying? You ain't drying?
It's already.
And go, why I said I'm drunk.
You can tell why we were late. And then,
guys.
yeah, my cousin's here. And then on my far right, he ain't been here in a minute either. I like to bring back past guests that are impactful and part of the In the Zone family. Boy, Jamil, what's going on, boy?
What's going on, sir? Good to be here, Chicago, man. Appreciate you.
We're not doing that shit tonight.
We ain't heard that in a couple of weeks.
We're not doing that shit tonight. I hear that shit every day. Fuck y'all. And then on my immediate right, one of our faves. She's been on a couple times here and there. She specifically asked to be on the show this evening. So she's our surprise guest for the night. Rachel, what's going on, lady?
Hey, I'm excited to be here.
Someone else who hasn't been on here in a really long time.
I know. That did not sound excited the way you did it. Though. I'm excited to be. I need you to come on, amp that shit up though.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here.
That's what I'm
you.
talking
There
about.
we go.
All right, y'all. So listen, hey. So if you have not known or have not heard or have not read, the conversation this evening centers around over 40, never married. Is that a red flag or is it a badge of honor? I'm sure our guests have a lot of opinions on it. So we're going to start off on my far left with my cousin. I sent you all to run a show, but we're going to go a little bit out of order. I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear this. Is this a red flag or a badge of honor to be over 40, never married?
It's not a red flag.
Okay.
It's not a badge of honor.
It is why I bring her on.
It's
Pivot. Tell me which
it is
pivot
the
is.
happy medium. Okay. Let's start here. Marriage. We've seen some happy marriages. We've seen some terrible divorce, right? It is not a problem being single at 40. It's also, it's this whole thing about these standards where I need this, this, and this, and this. No, you need to be a complete person on your own first, find your own happiness. And then when the timing is right, regardless if that's 55 for some, marriage can exist. So continue on down the line because I have some things I know I'm going to have to circle back to, but it's neither.
I love when the guests like lets us know they're gonna be shooting all types of bullets.
Look, they like, I got shit to say.
Pow, pow.
Come back at me. All right. So she said it's not. There's a happy medium between the two. Jamil?
I'm gonna take the same route. I don't
Okay.
think it's either. I think it's just an accumulation of choices that people make.
What do you mean by that?
Some people choose to get married, some people don't. It's not a red flag. It's an accumulation of choices they made from relationship to relationship.
You gonna leave it right there, huh?
I am.
Okay.
To circle back.
All right. Well, we coming back.
Why does everybody keeps trying to circle back?
Don't worry about it.
We know it's gonna
listen,
happen.
we got we got more. Oh, I got more. Rachel?
So I think that I totally agree with the concept of a successful marriage needs to start with two people that are happy and whole.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I feel like our society isn't built for raising happy, healthy, whole people. And it takes a long time to grow through life and to mature and to age and to decide, like, I want to learn what triggers me, what are the things that I bring to the table when I'm in a relationship that either contribute to or take away from a relationship. And I feel like oftentimes, and that's in your 30s or your 40s where you can really step to the table and have that happy, healthy, mature relationship where it's like, I'm choosing this, I'm happy. I'm not a married person that's unhappy. I'm not a married person that's going to end in divorce. I'm going to like enter into this partnership as two whole people. And I don't know that that is easy to do when you're super young.
Okay. So is it a red flag or not? I'm trying to figure out the answer to this question.
I don't think it's a red flag.
Okay.
I do think that there are instances where maybe it could be, but for me, where the red flag really lies is, are you able to have a long-term healthy relationship, whether that's marriage or not?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not and you've never experienced that, maybe that's a red flag, but it's the bar isn't marriage.
When you say define long term. What's the minimum?
Over 5 years.
Over 5.
Ooh.
What's long term?
No, I'm
That's a
asking.
matrculation.
No. Oh,
I'm
I'm
asking, is it
saying
like
that.
over 5
What's
or-
long term? 6 months? 2 years?
How old are these people?
We'll get there. I know, we'll get there.
I think 2+ years, and that's not like long term, but that's long enough to be able to see someone in multiple seasons and understand their entire life and how they react in situations.
Okay. Yeah. it's hard to have your representative out there for 2 whole years.
I would
Yes.
agree.
Jamil, long term. I want to get a whole panel.
How long is long?
How long is long term?
I'll say a year and a half.
Year and a half?
I'm a 2 year.
2 year?
Mhm.
Sean?
Oh my God, long term. I never thought about it. I guess 2, 3.
2,
Yeah,
2,
minimum.
3.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Sean, we're gonna circle this question to you.
What was the question again?
The
What's
question
red flag?
is it? So for everybody that
I'm
might
still too
be
drunk for you to be questions up like that. Mhm.
everybody that's maybe new to the show, I am tonight the only person on this panel that happens to have been and am married. And all of including our wonderful co-hostess, are plus 40 and never married. So you have to answer this question.
I'm gonna have to piggyback off of Rachel, right? I think the more important question is, have you ever been in a relationship, right?
Mhm.
Have you committed yourself to someone and shared space, or at least made like future plans with them? If you can show that you've done that, then I don't think you being single at 40 is an issue. If you've never done that, if you've never tried to future plan with anybody, that's the red flag to me, because that shows that
AJ.
there's something there, right? Where you, and I want to be fair, maybe you just in 40 years haven't found somebody to share your space with. I find that very difficult to believe, but I also want to be fair, right? But I would have more questions if you said that you've never been in a one-on-one serious relationship with somebody than being married. Because that's the step, right? Before you get married, you have to be in a serious relationship with them.
In at least 2 years is what we're saying.
Yeah.
So if you were dating for a year, that shit don't count.
Not really. I mean, because you can. I think it's hard to keep up your representative for a year as well. But to Rachel's point, you can't see them over multiple things happening.
I haven't seen how you interact on all of the holidays or
A year as a whole.
vacations or friends' weddings that come up, or who knows. Like, I feel like,
I mean, some
you
people don't
need-
go on their first vacation together until a year,
yeah,
right? You may not go to somebody's wedding. You may not meet their family for a whole year.
right.
So
Whole year?
look,
Maybe.
I don't try to judge. I'm just saying maybe you met them right after Christmas, so you got to go
Oh,
a
yeah,
whole another year before
That's
you
why
meet
I
their
said a
family,
year and a
right?
half, because you get some overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
could be something there. What about you,
What's the question?
Scrooge McDuck?
What's the
You
question?
can't keep up with the question either.
I want to know your
Is it a
your
red? Is
specific
it a
question.
red flag?
It's a fucking huge red flag. All right, it's a huge red flag, people.
Why?
Why is it a huge red flag?
Yeah,
Let
tell me, break it
why it's a
down.
fucking huge red flag.
Because he wants to be an antagonist. That's why.
Just don't undermine the show. Thank you very much. It's a red flag because you can't tell me that between the ages of 16 and 40, you haven't met anybody that didn't want to fucking wife or husband you. And if you haven't,
So just because I
Wait,
met somebody means that
hold
I
on,
need to
hold
marry
on.
them?
And if you haven't, then that means that there's something wrong with either how you date or the people that you choose to date.
Or, like I said, it's an accumulation of choices. You may
Bad
not
choices.
make-
Oh,
It could. I didn't say good, bad. I said choices, right? So
well, I mean, we're talking about 2 years, and we kind of old, so I kind of see your
Well, why
point
does
here.
Everybody believe that,
Oh.
and I'm not speaking against marriage. I am pro-marriage, but why does everybody believe that marriage is the best choice?
Doesn't happen.
It's not the best choice for everybody,
It doesn't. But if
and you aren't the keeper of that
I'm
to
not,
say that it is or isn't.
absolutely not.
Right?
Only that person can make that decision if marriage is the choice they want to make. But if marriage is the choice you do want to make, and by 40 you haven't found somebody that you want to settle down with, or you haven't had somebody that wants to settle down with you, there might be some looking in the mirror you want to do.
But what about
but
even
those two
the
things have to happen
engagement
together,
happens?
though. That's the problem.
What if you get engaged? What if, yes, everything's going according, become engaged to this person, and then their representative shows up, here's the red flag. What do you do then?
You mean the representative goes away?
Yeah, exactly.
Let me
What happens then?
let me not be misunderstood. I'm not saying you should get married for the sake of getting married. completely
It
disagree
sounds
with
No, I'm
that.
saying like if you love them, all of
that
I
I
didn't-
would be in a different category if I just got married all willy-nilly.
I
Because
don't-
I could have married people.
Yeah.
Well,
And
wait.
then now I'm not, then I'm all of a sudden I'm not the person with red flags because I just got married just to get married.
So I'm gonna hop in and be Captain
Yes.
Save a Hole just a little with Brian. What I think he's saying is after so much time.
Did you just call me a hoe?
I did. I think what Brian is saying is if you've managed to meet and date people and you haven't found somebody that you didn't remember in my statement, I said future plan with, right? And that includes marriage, that's somebody you like, oh, I think this is somebody I can marry. If you have not identified that somebody, that's something you want to do at 40, then there may be something you should look at internally. I'm assuming that's what you mean.
But that's
unless you mean
even
something
more
different.
drilled down because I
Oh no, he
40
said y'all
have
ain't
met
shit.
people
My bad,
that
I
would
tried.
have
I didn't say
married.
that. You said what? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I at 40 have absolutely had people in my life that I would have married.
And then whatever.
But either it didn't work out or I had a gut feeling about things or I was engaged at one point. He passed away
Can't do it.
suddenly. Like you
That's
can't do
unfortunate.
anything about that.
Yeah.
So I feel like there are things in life and I'm just the kind of person, I'm very much like a go with the flow, feel the energy.
Mhm.
And if the energy isn't right, or if my gut intuition is telling me to go left when this other person is trying to go right, I'm not going to force it. Have I had opportunities where I could have forced it? Yeah. But then I'm one of those people that's divorced a year later, 5 years later, or unhappy for the next 20 years of my life because I had a child with this person. I want better for myself. That doesn't make me a red flag.
Yes, it does.
Boom.
Sure does. I appreciate that lens. Absolutely. Jamil, I'm specifically twist this to you as the only man on the panel.
All right.
That's in this situation. Tell me about your, and you don't have to be specific, obviously, your dating history, right? Like
I thought the resumes was last week.
this is part 2, mother.
Continuation.
You didn't turn yours in.
did not.
I'm not saying you have to give run down. I dated such, but I mean you clearly dated and had girlfriends and yada yada yada. So just let me know about like how you've landed at this point where you're this age. I'm not putting your age out there, and you haven't necessarily found the one.
Shoot, I look up and I was like, what the no, I'm just joking. It's a combination of choices, right? I think we meet people that we're interested in, you experiment, you date exclusively, and you get to a point where things go forward or they don't. And then you have to make a decision. That's why I was saying it's an accumulation of decisions, right? Is it the right decision for you? Is it the right time, right person, right circumstance, right finances? Are you ready? So I think I've kind of had all of those. Personally, I guess for me, if I've dated someone and had a relationship or called them my girlfriend, I actually thought that I could marry that person at some point. And then representatives go away, situations arise. You talk about how you plan to grow together, how you want to raise children, where you want to live, financial expectations, how you spend money. I'm like, this girl been shopping like every day this week. Like, it's not gonna make it. But I mean, it's all of those situations. And any, I guess, relationship that I've been in, it's kind of come down to one of those things. And communication, how a person communicates or has a lack of communication skills. And you just got to find out what you can deal with and what you can't.
Let me ask you this as a follow-up question. Do you think it's different for a man to be over 40 and not married, and that's a red flag or not, as opposed to a woman over 40 and that's a red flag and or not?
I'll tell you what I've heard.
I asked you what you thought.
No,
That motherfucker deflected like a
I know, right? Wax on, wax off.
He's
You know what I'm saying?
people say
He was like Wonder Woman, like
all right.
That's
What I've
Neo right
heard,
there. That was
I don't
Neo.
necessarily believe it, or maybe I do. I'm sorry.
Well, I think I will say from a woman's perspective, for me, it's a red flag. And I've always deflected that because I'm like, just because I haven't made bad choices doesn't make me a bad person. Like, just because I could have married someone that I didn't like or couldn't see myself being long-term with, that makes me a bad guy, or because I'm not, irresponsible and not covering things up and I don't have kids, that makes me a bad person. I think that makes me actually a responsible person. But so I know a lot of guys that aren't married. Some of them is by choice, like they never saw themselves being married, or either they want to be married, and we've grown and we've seen people get divorced. And from a man's perspective, you see that men have everything to lose, and most women don't have as much to lose.
Shit.
I know, yeah. Get the comments going.
I'll come with you next.
I'm just saying.
God,
I'm
y'all
saying
make me tired
as.
with this.
I'm just saying as much, but it's a real thought, regardless of whether you agree with it or not. It's a real thought.
If you got $50 and you take 25, that should hurt.
Chantel, right? And the house and the keys. So I got $25 and the house.
And the winner.
If she got 25 of your $50, you definitely ain't got no motherfucking house for her to take. Just
You never know.
You missing out on.
My mama could have
left
left me that house.
Oh,
What you talking about?
That's right.
But no. So I think I don't think for men it's a red flag, especially if they don't have any other negative things about them. Like if they ain't got 7 baby mamas, or moving everywhere. Or,
same for a woman.
I would say that, yeah.
Okay. Jatan, red flag. If a 40-year-old plus man, never married.
No.
Woman, 40-year-old. Well, let me rephrase that. I already know you're gonna say yes to that part. So that's not a red flag for you.
It's not.
Okay.
It's
What? Elaborate, please.
For a man, are you asking it?
You
As
are
a woman looking at a
Yes,
40-year-old man? No, because there are instances in his life, I'm sure, that might be like the instances in my life as to why I'm not married at 40 plus. You could have had long-term relationships just like I did. I had a relationship that spanned almost 20 years off and on. Like I kept bending the block, coming back, and he did too. And it just didn't work out. In between those times, we dated other people. And each time we would reconnect, it was like, oh, there's growth here. Yes, we're progressing towards something. And then, no, we're not progressing towards anything.
You the same motherfucker.
The facade comes down. You see the real person, like,
So wait.
what it is.
So wait. To that point, then, should that potentially be a red flag?
It should, but here's the thing. When you do something young, like I said, I dated off and on for 20 years,
Sure.
right? So we met as teenagers. I don't expect anything to really be serious there. Not even before like 28, but we dated in our 20s. And then we tried, 30s was it. I was like, okay, we're in our 30s now. This is it. You're successful. You're doing your thing. I'm out here. I'm doing my thing. We're both doing great. We can build on this. And then I realized with that success, he felt like he was the shit.
I met that man.
You do.
I am that man.
Because I'm going to tell you. You know him, but I'm not going to say his name. And so he felt like he was the shit. And he just said, oh, it's always something better out here. Because that's the thing, that it's always something better, right? There is nothing, because
Better? Different?
different is probably it, right?
Mhm.
But people think it's always, the grass is always greener. But
Facts.
when I see him, he looks miserable and tired.
Is he still unmarried?
Still unmarried.
Oh.
Mm.
Guess that
And
grass
still-
wasn't that greener.
Yeah, and,
Maybe it was AstroTurf.
and playing the field, like that's the reason why we broke up. Because
Yeah. Okay. Rach?
Yes.
40-year-old man, 40-year-old plus year old man, unmarried, never married. Red flag for you?
Yes and no.
Go. Let's keep it real. Come on.
Rachel, no, you're changing course.
Come on. No. She got to keep it a buck. Keep it a buck.
For a man, I do think it's different.
Okay.
I do. Like, I would be lying if I didn't say that I feel like men have more options than women do as it relates to quality of people to date and
They
to
definitely
marry. I would be lying if I didn't say that.
So, I'm sorry. Please continue.
These men over here about to like fall the fuck out.
I mean, I feel like that's already been quantified, but I feel like I would be lying if I didn't say that men
Tanya think it's a red flag.
in a relationship are more in control on whether or not the relationship moves towards marriage. And so for those two reasons, I feel like it could be yes and could be no. Do I feel like there are men out there that could have had a similar path than me? And like you were saying, and so it's like I can't hold that against you because you've lived life and life just hasn't shaken out that way for you. Yes, I believe that those guys are out there, but I also believe that there's also a subset of men that are out there that you just have chosen not to get married because you ain't
Get Allie's
wanna
comment
play.
up there.
because you want to play.
Okay.
And I can't be mad at that. You know what I mean? Like, are we having this conversation that also includes a bucket of people that feel like marriage isn't the end all be all? Are we having a conversation that doesn't include those people?
That's fair.
Well, as I said earlier today, I believe that everyone wants to get married and have that partner, and the vast majority of people want to have that partner and want to have somebody that they want to settle down with and raise that family and do those things. And when people say, "Yeah, I chose not to be married," no, you didn't get chosen to be married.
No, those life experiences come into play that both of you discussed and I discussed.
No, I'm not saying that's not true.
But
what I'm
you're
saying,
assuming that just because someone chose me, that I still chose to get married.
No, what I'm saying is when people say that most people, when they say I choose to be single and I choose not to do this and I never wanted to get married, that's probably not true. The truth is probably you just never were chosen to be married.
Who are you?
With the right partner, though.
I told you what I was going to do.
Let's see.
Sean, hold on.
Oh, Jesus
Christ. No, you thought you'd get out of this.
Brian is pulling a fake creep right now.
This is what I believe. This is what I believe.
Until the camera goes off. What's the question? I'm sorry.
Right.
Red flag.
For a man?
40 and over, never married. You meet a man, he's 45 years old. He's never been married. Y'all start dating. Are you looking at him kind of like, I got to figure that shit out? Why?
Maybe not a red flag, maybe a yellow flag.
Yellow flag.
A little yellow flag. Yeah. I definitely would. It provokes questions, right? Like, how have you not, you're 40, you're 50. 50 is an orange flag. So I'm like, wow, what's an orange flag?
I don't know the difference. What the fuck these flags mean?
The key
is that like the waves that you have to take the boat out? I don't know what is orange flag.
This could be because I'm a project manager, right? So these colors,
green, you're good to go. Right. Yellow, it's like orange.
Orange right before red.
Right, red is like hell no. It's inferno.
Yeah, it's like whether or not we get
run for the hills, run for your life.
Welcome to my career. So yes. At 40, it would be a yellow flag, which provokes questions.
You said orange flag.
I said if you're in the 50s. Okay, 50, 60, I was like, ooh, what's happening there? But yeah, it would provoke questions because I would want to understand why, right? Like, is this a legitimate, you have not met somebody that you deemed not necessary, but appropriate to marry? I got questions. Like, are you not a serial dater? Maybe you are a man who is like a single person dater, right? That may be the case. I would have a lot of questions. It provokes more questions than concerns. Probably.
Do you think those questions can even be answered at the beginning of dating, though? I feel like those questions get answered
down the road.
6 months, 9 months
I think
down the road.
If you are self-aware, okay, two things, right? If you're self-aware and honest enough to answer the questions, then yes, they can be answered in the beginning. If you're not self-aware and you're not honest, then yes, it's going to take 6 months for you to. And Jamil's over here.
No, I'm saying you talk about the other person being
whoever you're asking the question to. Yeah. Like for me, I'm asking a man, right?
Right.
Like I will say, the last person I dated, one of my questions was, "Why did you get divorced? Like what happened that caused the divorce?" Now I was listening for something very specific. I didn't really care why he got divorced, but what I'm listening for is, can you be accountable for what happened? Your part. Can you be objective about what happened? Are you going to play the blame game? Like, talk to me about what happened in a very objective way.
I've dated some guys that are really good at that. And at the end of the day, okay.
I mean, fair.
To that point,
Gotcha.
to that point,
Nick Cannon? Did you date Nick Cannon? Is that what happened?
to that point though, for me,
Now she ain't pregnant. So
oh dang. To that point though, for me, that's where I would take the blame, right? Because I stayed too long
Okay.
Hey,
in
can we put
in,
that-
situ-
can we put
in
that marker
situations.
It's recorded, so it's on forever.
for it? So a failed marriage?
no, he wanna. Where's
Oh.
What happened?
who
The
want-
one at
and
the
y'all
top.
too?
Yeah. So a failed marriage is more desirable than never married. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's a
That's, an
good-
interesting
that's a good
question.
point.
But that's what society makes you feel.
I would say
It's more valuable.
yes.
In this
Yes,
this
it's more
conversation,
valuable.
it is,
It is.
and y'all
yeah.
too. That's my guy. It is absolutely more valuable.
But I think it's
because I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but I think what society says is I've already determined that somebody wants me, that somebody desired me, that as a woman, as a man, I've been willing to take that step. I've been willing to put a ring on somebody's finger and be that figure in the household. Just because it didn't work doesn't mean now it just means that it didn't work. But I've been willing to do it. When you saying 40 plus and never married, now people got a question about whether you're even willing and or desirable.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just telling you that's how it's been defined.
But let's look at this in a different lens, right?
Mhm.
If you look at somebody, if you're looking at an applicant, right, and you talk to somebody, I know Jamil's like, this is not work, and it can't compare it to work.
No,
I think some
actually-
aspects-
It absolutely
I
is.
actually
I
compare
think
dating
I
to
think
a
there are some
hiring
aspects.
process.
I
But-
think this is important, right? When you are interviewing people, you ask about failure, right? What does it
Mhm.
look like? What does it look like for them to fail, and how are they resilient in that failure, right? I think if you haven't been married or had a failed relationship or failed, I don't really consider that, but let's say that failed, you want to understand how they overcame it. Why did it fail? What did they learn? If
Right.
you've never done it, what the fuck have you overcome? What have you learned? How do you grow as an individual if you haven't gone through that? So yes, I would say from that perspective, it is more important for you to have a failure versus not doing anything at all. Because I think not doing it at all calls questions like, are you afraid of failing? Like, what's there for you?
But what's the difference between me having a
I was about to ask.
three-year
Mhm.
3-year relationship that didn't result in marriage, but was super bonded, full relationship that just didn't work out because
Well-
it didn't work out, versus me choosing to get married and after 3 years we get divorced and it didn't work out? Like, what's the difference?
In my statement, I said you have a failure, right?
Yeah,
I'm not saying it has to be marriage, but
it
you
just
have
it
To
didn't
try.
Yeah,
you have to see that people are willing to take the risk, right? You wanna date somebody who's
but
a
I feel
risk
like
taker.
giving your heart is the risk. The
Absolutely.
marriage isn't the risk. So if I'm willing to give my heart in a relationship, no matter what the end result is that not me taking the leap?
Mine is all encompassing. I'm not just sitting on the marriage piece.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
if you're willing to take the risk of a relationship, whether it's marriage, whether
Yeah.
it's just a partnership, that's what you want to hear
I agree.
people. You want to hear that people are willing to take that risk. You do not want to date somebody who's risk adverse.
So
That's what you want to avoid.
What's a partnership? Is that living together? How do
Whatever you define
partnership?
it as. If you are building a life with that person, it's from my perspective. If that's living
Cohabitation.
together, if you live next door, if you live on other sides of the country, I've met a married couple who he lived in New York, she lived here, and they figured it out, right?
Mhm.
That was their marriage. So there is no concrete, it has to look like this. If you all have agreements
It has
and
to
you
work
all
for
have
you.
given it a title, then I honor that title you give it. For me. And here comes Brian with his old pessimistic ass.
That marriage title, that
So
marriage,
what you got?
that marriage title is different.
How?
That marriage title is different
How?
because if you and I are dating, engaged, whatever,
Mhm.
and we decide to break up,
Right.
we just break the fuck up.
Not if you have contracts in place.
What contracts?
You can have life insurance.
Come
you
on,
can have
stop
all
it.
types of shit.
Stop it. That shit don't
A
generally
house.
happen.
A house.
That generally does not happen when you're dating. Let's be
if
frank.
you're seriously dating, if you
When
like
I-
been dating 6
talking,
months now.
I'm gonna say
We're
that
not
it
talking
happens now in
dating marriage.
2024.
I mean, there are
We're
people you
talking
can add
like
to your
partnership.
I
Yeah.
know a lot of people.
No. What I'm saying is, if I'm dating somebody, even if we're serious and we've been dating for 3 years, generally we are not contractually obligated to each other in any way, shape, or form. And when we break up, I take my TV, I take my couch, I'm gone.
So what you're saying
That
is
does
the
not
heart
have-
is not the risk.
No.
The money is
The
risk.
heart is always the risk, but it's not even just the money though. generally, when you talk about marriage, you're talking about the money, you're talking about the house, you're talking about the kids, you're talking about all these other things that are included on top of your heart. Your heart's probably already out of it if you're breaking up. Now you've got to figure out all these other things. I'm saying it's simpler to break up when you're not married. It's easier to be like, fuck you.
Not if kids are involved.
Not if
Not if kids are involved.
But
if you have
just
money
added them
involved,
on
if
top
you
of
have
the list, so
property
let's
involved,
compare apples
if
to
you
apples.
have businesses involved.
That's generally not the case. And legally, it is easier to separate those things, to unintertwine those things when you are not married than when you are.
I mean, but if you poor, you don't have no business, you don't
No,
have no
I'm saying,
property,
even
you
if
can
you
get a
just
quick
you just
divorce.
put businesses and all that shit in it. What I'm saying is, when you're married as opposed to dating and you have these things together, they're more easily unwound when you are not married. Part of the joy and the benefits of being married is you have these legal and paperwork things that you have together when it's good that protect you. It's fucked up when you break up.
It's bad either way.
It's bad either way. One is worse than the other. That's all I'm saying.
You mean one you got to go in front of a judge, and the other you don't?
And the other one, I'm just bringing my boys and we taking all my shit.
It's good to not be married.
I mean, and
If
that
that's the case.
it's when you're breaking up, sure, but nobody goes into a relationship thinking you're gonna break
Exactly.
up. Let's pivot a little bit.
Well,
I do want to ask.
Some people do.
Well,
I digress.
Okay,
that's a whole other show.
Another goddamn pessimist
That's a
on the
whole
break.
other show. Let me ask this.
Oh, the first one's the resume part 3.
So, we've all in this room dated in various age ranges, teenagers, 20, 30, 40. How does dating change as a single, obviously, person in those different age ranges? How does the expectations, even society puts on you, change as you matriculate through those ages, 20, 30, 40? And how do you date differently as you matriculate through those ages? I'm going to start with Sean, actually, since she's sitting right here, and she's usually the end result, but she's going to be the start right now.
Wait, ask me the question again. I'm sorry. I was actually reading Jamal's comments, so I totally missed.
Please don't do that.
I'm sorry. It was actually an interesting question that he asked.
Okay.
But okay.
Oh, he finally asked one?
Yeah.
As you date and we age,
Mhm.
how is dating and accompanied with that, your expectations different as you matriculate through the 20s, 30s, and 40s?
That is a very fascinating question. All right, so I'm gonna answer it in 2 halves. One, I think dating is easier because you have more clarity, right? You're clearer
When you're older. Mhm.
You're clear on who you are. You're clearer, not like necessarily crystal clear, because I think you trying to figure this out until the day you die, but you're clearer on who you want to date, right? But it's harder because those expectations are there, right? You have to meet somebody else's expectations that have been formulated over, X period of time of dating, right? And then you have your own level of expectations, which have all heightened over X amount of time, right? So now I hate to use the word competing, but I don't have a better word. You're trying to get in against these expectations. When you're in your 20s, you ain't got no fucking expectations. You just might expect them to look good
It's a good time.
and smell good. That may be the expectation. That's it. And then when you get like
This is why I
45,
won in my 20s, sorry.
you got a whole lot of other expectations. So I realized that was like a very like fancy answer, but that's
Mhm.
just the truth.
No,
of the
no, no.
matter. Like
That's fair.
it's easier overall to date. Them expectations, trying to hit them expectations is much harder.
John?
When you're younger, things really don't matter as much. Like she said, you don't put as much significance on the things that will impact you long term. Oh yeah, rebuke the bare minimum.
Cuz said she rebukes the bare minimum. I ain't mad.
So-
Great shirt to wear.
That's why she's single.
That's-
God damn it.
No, because bare minimum is half-ass, right? So if you're going to do something, go all in.
Come on.
But yeah, dating younger, it's cute. I mean, you realize something about even like dining. As simple as dining, right? Yes, we like to go to nice places. We like to spend our money, but we could also save our money. We can also go buy a tomahawk steak and have it out. What now?
Huh?
What's that?
Oh, we listening.
Our money. Mhm.
Our money.
Our
Yes, 'cause
money.
If you're coupled, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Are we married?
That you just said that was
Regardless,
a bigger risk.
Are we married?
This is on
Yes.
the way.
Have
to
we
marriage.
linked our bank accounts?
This is on the way to marriage, right?
You men
But
are
have
killing me
we
with this
linked
money
our
shit.
bank accounts? who's probably paying for that tomahawk steak?
I know I've paid for tomahawk steak. So
I ain't never got no tomahawk steak.
we together. We cousins.
Come on, cuzzo. I like it. Look, I'm
Hey,
safe.
don't say that. I hate this conversation. I'm taking him to dinner. So
She has.
Like, I don't do that. I am a fair person.
She
in a
is. I'm
relationship.
just talking shit.
Hell, don't even make me go here, but I'm gonna tell you about a date.
Is this a recent date or is it old?
No, I'm gonna give you some of this history.
Ooh.
So, how does this work in a relationship? 30s, right?
Mhm.
You know, this is the person you want to be with, you want to marry. It's serious. Y'all together a year and a half. So, you take them out, get them like not a cheap steak dinner. This is not Outback Steakhouse. You take them to the top of the line, right?
Shut up. Shut up. Uh-huh.
Wait.
Uh-huh.
You do all this by cake.
Shut up.
By cake, or a cake form, champagne. You pull out the red carpet. Your birthday comes. You find yourself making your plans for your birthday.
Oh.
They didn't even plan anything for you.
Oh.
So you see, things happen as you get older. You see things differently. You're like, this is some of the vacationing I want to do. This is how I want to experience life. These are the things I want to experience with you. But they show you they don't want to experience that shit with you. So you plan out your birthday. You go staycation. And they leave you because they say, oh, I have work. Work is calling me.
Swear y'all be ain't shit. Like y'all really be.
Oh,
You know.
who's y'all?
So I just
Don't
say
you
this
say
to
men.
say,
Whoever
like,
falls into the y'all category.
things should be different as you get older. You should progress towards something and you should want something better. You should show growth, all of those things. You shouldn't still be acting like you're 20 years old and want to be out here footloose and fancy free making up excuses.
Is it tougher now than it was in your 20s?
You know what? It can be. And here's why. Also, if you have one child, like I'm a mom now.
Mhm.
So it is a little tougher now because you also have to find someone who's willing to accept your child
Mhm.
if they have no kids, right? And that's why I say it's nothing wrong with a man being single, you know, no children over a certain age. But it's like, are you willing to accept my one child?
Does that make dating more complicated, right? Because you do have a very young child.
He's
right?
2, right?
Right. So is that making more of a roadblock? Like my daughter's 11. So somebody here, 11-year-old, they're like, I ain't gotta raise them. She got daddy, it's fine. So when they're 2, how does that impact your dating life? Like, what do those conversations look like?
You know what? Men sometimes think it is going to impact them, but here's the fact: he has a father, and his father is active in his life. So I'm not asking you to, you know, pay for vacations, schooling, daycare. I'm not asking for any of those things. What I'm asking you to do is show my son another example of a great man. Okay. I think I picked a good father for my son, you know, but here's the thing. If you can't show me that, it's not going to work for me.
Mhm.
So I vet people as I date them now.
That's interesting.
The
to say
vetting
that.
process.
That's
is
interesting.
different.
That's a whole other
Show.
and level of this that we won't even
We're not gonna
completely dive into
right.
it because
It'll take us.
that's a
another
whole
2
other
hours.
piece, right? Like not only do you have to be right for me, you got to be right for me and my child.
Yeah.
And I will expect the same thing from a man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When he looks at me, I want him to say, hey, if I'm interested in her, is she going to be the type of role model for my child, son or daughter, right? Would she be a great stepmom? If you're even thinking about that,
I was gonna say, I
dating-wise.
wonder if men even consider that when they're dating.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't live in y'all heads. That's what I'm asking.
No,
the question.
I'm not saying that aggressively.
I believe that they think about the exact same things we do, just at different times.
Okay, that's
Ooh,
fair.
that's a good point. Oh, we
Can I
got
get a
to
follow-up?
circle back to
Can I
that.
get a follow-up question?
Go ahead.
So
Because I was gonna come to you anyway. So
all right, so I have a follow-up question. So when you say a man should be concerned because my child already has a father, like if he's not concerned about that, is that somebody you want to be with?
No, but
Because I think as a man, like if I go into
I mean those type of concerning things like you feel like it's your, like I'm giving you this duty, like you're with me, so you're gonna pay for this, that type of attitude that men sometimes can get from certain women, not me per se, right? Because I don't do that. It's like, no, he has a dad who is responsible. I have a responsible adult over here. I expect you to be a responsible adult. And then how I expect you to be a responsible adult is just show his mother respect.
Mhm.
Don't disrespect his mother in front of him. Don't disrespect him. Talk to him nice. So teach him how to be respectful. You're just adding another layer, a nice little coating. But he has a strong foundation because that's how I'm raising him.
Would you, because
That's
we're
what I
talking about at the very beginning, right?
Mhm.
Let's say you all get to a point of engagement. Do you then expect him to become a third contributor financially to your child? Or
That-
would he never have any expectation of
That's
that?
what I was getting to.
That would totally be up to him.
Mhm.
And that would also be if his father passed away. Is that something that I could look towards you? And that's a conversation I would have. If
Mhm.
anything happens to me, his dad, how would you step in his life?
Right,
What would
but
you be
that,
willing to do?
that goes back to the
Or if
original
Now-
anything
question.
happened to you that you couldn't maintain your half, and he
Mhm.
had
Yeah.
to maintain that on behalf of you as that.
Would you
that half of
be
the
willing to
household.
do it? But these are
Right,
questions
right,
that you ask during dating, right?
But that goes to my
And
point.
vetting.
Like, if he's not concerned about that, thinking about that
No,
going
if he's
in.
not concerned about that, I told you. He's not for me. I'm walking
Oh,
away.
okay. All right.
I'm walking away, but
Well,
I'm not
I
going
guess
to
what
give him, 40%
yeah.
of responsibility.
We
No.
going down a path. That's a
I'm just
whole
saying.
other show.
I was
I
just
appreciate this
clarifying
conversation.
her
though.
point.
Yeah,
but-
no. I appreciate the conversation, but I want to pull it back to because that's a piece of it.
That's
Because
interesting.
at our big ages,
We
we
have kids.
usually have kids to discuss in these conversations. But let's push it back to Jamil. And damn it, I don't forgot where were we at originally?
I don't know because
I
we
don't
start
know.
talking about that. My brain's there.
About
We can't drink no more
dating
before
and
a show.
ages.
Dating
So,
age. That's right. That's right. Oh,
Dating
he was like,
age.
damn it, I hope you wouldn't
I
ask me.
remember.
There you go. That's why I love my cousin. Dating in your 20s, 30s, 40s, how's it different? And how do the expectations change for you and how other people see what you should be doing?
I just remembered that's not the question. The question
wasn't
the
was,
question.
is
That
it
was the
easier to date now?
I'm changing.
Yeah.
shit.
I see.
Well, it was somewhat.
I was like,
it's interesting. Like, for me, I've always been like really mature, so I don't think
Real
my
immature.
Yeah.
Immature.
No, really mature.
Oh, mature.
Yes,
I heard immature.
mature.
Mature. He's
So-
mature.
So I mean, I'm the only child, and all my cousins were like 5 years older than me. And even in school, I was young. So I'm dealing with people that's a year older than me. So I've always thought older than what I am.
Gotcha.
So like dating in my 20s, I had mature expectations. Like, and I've
Talk about
heard, my ex-girlfriend from college, her friend kind of said that to me one time, like years later. Like, we didn't understand like why you were saying certain things. You just happen to be really mature. So my expectations really haven't changed from 20, 30 to 40, but certain things have changed, like budgets or, bringing things to priorities, communication. And I think just emotional expectations. So was it easy in my 20s? I don't think dating is easy. I think committing to someone has gotten harder in your 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because you know more of the things that you want versus 20. Even though, like, I can have that baseline 10 that's the same from 20 to 40, now it's 1 or 2 more every 5 years or what have you. So that's the thing that makes it difficult.
Interesting. I appreciate that. Rachel? 20s, 30s, 40s. How's it changed? How's it different? How have your expectations changed?
I would say that in my 20s, I was able to fall in love with a different capacity of like my whole full heart that isn't readily accessible now when I date. So that is different for me. But the flip side of that is that in my 40s, the requirements are different, right? My standards of what I want is different because who I know myself to be as a person, I understand myself on a deeper, more full level than I did at my 20s. But I do think that love in your 20s is a really beautiful, rare, precious thing because you're just falling in love with no guardrails. You know what I mean? And for those people that are able to find love young and keep it and nourish it and grow it, that's an amazing thing that you can love so fully at such a young age and then grow together. But I don't think that, I think that's a rare thing, you know.
Super
That's the way
rare.
you used to believe when you were 20, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah. That was
Are you saying, just a follow up question, are you saying like now there's, I don't want to frame this, there's a piece of you you're holding back when you are falling in love, as opposed to in your 20s, you're just like, here's everything, you're holding back 20%? Are you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You're a little more naive. when you're
It's like the gymnast who is amazing and great and has a crazy fall and is scared to get back up on the horse. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's we carry these wounds and these scars with us, and
we get a little jaded,
and
even
we
if we don't wanna admit it.
absolutely, and for better or for worse, even if we've learned great lessons from them, there's a part of ourselves that we hold back the older we get and the more lessons we learn that we don't, because we haven't learned those lessons at a younger age.
I will. Yeah. I thank you. I love that. I will say that is facts. So again, many of you have seen the show a million times. So I'm not gonna get into the story, but falling in love as a kid and not having like these expectations or these, to your point, guardrails or these fears or this I'm scared to fall, right? Like you just let it go. And there's nothing quite like that young love that is just uninhibited and I'm all in. Oh my God, I've never felt like this before, right? Right? And then that shit don't work. And right? Be it for whatever reason. Maybe it's not bullshit. Maybe it just didn't work. And now there's a little bit of a guardrail.
Yeah.
You know, then oh my God, I love this motherfucker too. That shit didn't work. Now there's a little bit of a, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, how many times y'all fall in love?
no, I'm just
Shit.
saying. Even if you've been in
I'm
love,
totally
That
kidding.
scab gets thick.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe you've been in love 3-4 times, but that very first time, particularly when you're a kid,
Yes.
and that's and you go, ain't no safety net.
No, totally. I've been there, did that. Yes, I recall.
We know you. Well, that's a whole.
First of all, don't do that. Like I've been in love 10 times, have not.
No, I'm just talking about that time you were stalking him. But that's a whole.
You know what? I'm not sharing no more of myself on this goddamn
You
show.
talked about that on the show.
And that's what's bring them old shows on you.
Oh well, that's
Because
what you do.
I'm able to be vulnerable and admit
That's right.
my
You do that shit.
previous misgivings,
As we
and
all
I can
should.
look at it and say, you know what, that wasn't
That
the
was
best
crazy.
idea at the time.
I ain't mad at it. Let me ask this. So, society, we were having this conversation earlier before we got on the show. Not everybody in the room, but some of us. Society kind of dictates a lot, obviously, but society tells us that, particularly women, that you should, like the fairy tale, when you have Barbie and a dream house and all that, there's always a kin. There's always a marriage. Like marriage is the end goal, the game. That's it. They don't tell you too much how to make a marriage work.
Right.
They don't tell you how, all none of that. Marriage is where you're striving for and want to get to. How much undue or due pressure has society put on all of us, including men, that marriage is the end game, despite, I think, to Rachel's point earlier, how great the relationship or it isn't, right? Like some people eat a lot of shit just to be married because being married is what you're supposed to be deemed by society.
Staying in a happy marriage, all of that.
All of that. So I'm curious how much we think society has put upon us what we think should and should not be when it comes to relationships. I'm gonna start with my guy Jamil first.
Can you repeat the question?
How much? I know I said a lot right there.
And give examples.
How much do we think? Whoa, I'm not giving. How much do we think society? How much undue pressure do we think society has put on us as males, females, individuals, despite the age, that marriage is the end game? And how was that? And how has that affected how you've dated?
I think it's a lot. I don't think it's affected how I don't think it's affected how I've dated from outside society, maybe internal factors, like you see your boys married, you know, your homegirls married. It's just like you and a couple people, and you like, I need to figure this out. But I think society does play a huge role. I think personally, you define how much that weighs on you. I don't think it's weighed on me a whole lot. And I mean, when you come from divorced parents, you kind of know like it doesn't have to be that way. I think people who parents have been together forever, I think they struggle with like, this is the only way it has to be. This is the only thing that I've known. So, you know, like my grandparents were married forever. So I've seen kind of like both. So I know it's not necessarily this way or that's it.
Okay. Reg? Need me to rephrase it?
Your 4-part question.
And look, no, Reg's like, I'm barely hanging on here. I've been drinking a little bit. So how much does society's weight of expectations affected you when it comes to dating?
Have I ever felt so much pressure that I just had to go run and get married? No.
Clearly not.
However, I feel, especially as a woman, our entire world is set up to teach us from the day that we are born that is the end all be all goal. That's like hashtag goals for us. And so, you know, we live in a day and age where that isn't something that we have to entertain just to have some sort of success or, you know, life in this world. That wasn't the case for our grandparents. But that doesn't mean that internally we're always kind of struggling and fighting against this programming that we have, that's what the perfect life looks like. And if we don't have that, we're not working towards the perfect life. Even if we don't align with that in our thinking, it's there. It can't not be there right now. That's everything from commercials to TV to whatever leads us to that path as the goal.
Fair. Cuz?
Yeah, it's so in your face. It's like you said, commercials, the jewelry commercials, right? It's, you know, some mornings I wake up, I'm not even gonna lie, and I'm like, kind of wish I was married. It would be, you know, be nice to, you know, have a husband, wake up to my husband, have family, all of those things, right? But I worked in the wedding industry too. So I'm an event planner too. So I planned some weddings. I've seen people go down the aisle and 6 months later, it's divorce. I've seen successful marriage. Like you said, my grandparents, 51 years married, right? Before my grandmother passed. Then I've seen horrible divorces of other relatives. It impacts women a lot. I think it's the pressure because it comes with the stigma of being an unwed mother. You know, just how we're looked at not being in a full-on commitment. And a full-on commitment for most is what they deem marriage is, right? So it's unfair. It's unfair for women.
That's the patriarchy at work. We already know.
Oh, yeah, because we carry the last name, all of those things, right? But for me, I don't let it do that anymore because I've seen the outcomes of a lot of things. I've just sit back and I've been an observer. And that's enough for me to say, you know what? It's okay. If it's for you, honey, it's going to happen. Take your time. Make sure he's good to you. You can be good to him. And that's it. I'm not giving up hope on marriage, but if it never happens for me, it never happens. And if it does, it does.
Oh, dear God.
John?
All right. So I'm only saying this because I've been drinking because I would never be this open.
Oh,
to be only
let me drink. Hold on.
Part of, and one of the things that's unsaid, right? There is a value placed. I hate you. There's a value placed on women when men want you, right? they want to bed you and they want to wed you, right?
Ooh.
And that is programming that we all have.
That's good
that we have to push against, right? And to be honest, I'm regularly as evolved, as progressive, as smart, as accomplished as I am. That programming is still there. It rests in the recesses of my mind. And when I do have failed relationships, that conversation comes in my head that I'm not valuable enough because that man didn't see me in a way that made him want to marry me, right? So that's the conversation you're having in your head. It's not a true statement, right? It's not true. He made the decisions he made because of whatever happened or whatever he was thinking. But that's programming we're constantly pushing against, if we're totally honest as women.
Society.
Yeah, and that's been there since Cinderella. That's been there since Barbie. That's been there since whatever your mother told you or your grandmother told you. So I don't know if that answered your question. I don't think it did, but that's for me what's always there, that I've gotten better at not succumbing to that conversation that's going on in my head. But to be honest, it's always there, and it probably will be there until the day I die.
So there's always a piece of you following up.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Stop giving me tequila.
No, I'm keeping you tequila. There's a piece of you,
yeah,
that if you're being open and honest, always
devalues myself when a man doesn't find me so
worthy
amazing to pop a ring on my finger. And I have been engaged, so I've had that experience. Like, who's not like, you're the love of my life, I need to, take care of you or marry you. Yes, there's a part of me that.
So some of your self-worth will always be tied into some man wanting to marry you.
Yes. I mean, it gets less as I get older, but yes, there will be 5% or 10% or 2% that will always live in that space of feeling like my value. I haven't lived up to my value because some man hasn't wed me. Yes.
Rachel?
No. I kind of feel like one of my responsibilities to myself is to constantly be tackling any thing that comes up in life that makes me feel like I'm asking the question, like, why me? Like I did something wrong. And so while I'm not completely there yet, I'd like to believe that as I grow and evolve as a human, I'm not asking or I'm not feeling like there's some piece of me that lost in life because I didn't go left when everybody was, or I didn't go left when everybody was going left. I went right, right? Because at the end of the day, I do fully believe that, like, I am guided by a higher purpose than societal rules. I have to learn. I have to learn and grow to get to that place. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And if there's ever something that happens to me, I'm in a situation now where I'm like questioning myself. I have to look at not like him, he fucked it all up, but like, why did I attract that into my life?
Exactly.
And if I can't tackle that question, am I going to just attract him in a different form?
Yeah, that's a really great
Do you know what I'm saying? So that's my responsibility in relationships.
I share all of those sentiments, and I also kind of want to touch on this question. So like when you're dating, say for instance, you're dating a man who's been married before and he's divorced and he's dating you now, and you've never, of course, been married. How does it make you feel when he says to you, so how come you've never been married? Like, it's like that pressure is coming right back on me, right? It's like,
so all it is what it is. Like, oh, nigga, why you not married, nigga?
Well, how long do you have so I can answer this question for you is my answer. And it's not deflecting, but it's like, you want to hear the story? Because I can lay it all out here for you, and if you could take it.
But I feel like that judgment is just as crazy as asking the question, oh, so how come you got divorced?
Yeah.
Like, life freaking happens.
I hate it, but they seem like they're so accustomed to being asked that question.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. Because divorce is okay. Because once again, circling back, it's, at least I was married.
Yeah.
I gave it the shot.
You at least got that badge, right?
There you go.
You do have the badge of I was married.
Hold on, I gotta get my guy back in this now.
Oh, no,
Fuck you,
no,
man.
no.
I'm just-
Jamil's like, no, don't ask me shit.
Keep it
Sagittarius
rolling.
No, my guy. That's why you're here. So, shit, this motherfucker, we done went all over the
I'm
motherfucker.
sorry.
No, tequila, goddamn.
It's a conversation. Y'all ask
Come on,
for
give
it.
me some. We cheers.
I'm done drinking.
No,
Water from this point
You're
to
a
the end.
liar.
There is no water.
There's no water up here.
I know,
You drink
that's
this
so
tequila.
unfortunate.
Talk about yourself.
So let me but I gotta ask Jamil on the flip side of that coin, right? Like, how does that pressure impact you? And has any woman, she might be her right now,
Oh no. Time to eat.
that's it. Has anybody put that pressure on you, that undue pressure of the fuck?
Wait, what's the first part? I got the undue pressure part, but what's the other part?
The other part was, and we might have already semi-touched on this. Sean, actually, you should probably ask.
Oh, Jesus Christ, what?
You started the conversation.
I did about how I will forever be, that's part of be feeling
The
inadequate.
pressures,
Yeah.
what does
Do
it make
you
you feel like?
do you feel inadequate? Thank you.
Mhm.
By the fact
You're
that you
welcome.
haven't been married,
Mhm.
So happy.
and how does that pressure? Like she ain't been drinking.
I have, but I
Oh shit! That's right. Facts. Does society make you feel inadequate, and do you have any feelings of inadequacy that are self-inflicted about the fact that you've never been married?
All right, that's a lot.
Or learned.
Well, you said that was a lie?
A lot.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a lot. Society, I would say no. Internally, yeah, I've had some questions like, why haven't you taken that step? Like, you've been close enough, you could have did it. Who knows what would happen, right? But I guess I never really felt pressure until like my father asked me one day, and I was like, "You too?"
Not you, Dad.
Thought we were
Not
on.
Sorry.
But no, he asked me one day, "It's like, you think it's about time, don't you?" I was like, "Time
Was
for
this
what?"
recent?
Prostate exam? What are we talking about right now?
Well, no, it was after I turned 40.
Mm.
But he was like, "You think it's about time, don't you?" I was like, "Yeah," but that don't mean that there's somebody here just because I think it's time. You know what I'm saying? I've never wanted to get married because I felt the pressure to be married. Like, I want to be married because I love this person. I'm into this person.
Mm.
I see a future with this person. We have similar likes or our dislikes we could deal with. You know what I'm saying? So I've always looked at it that way. But I'm not going to say it gets depressing, but sometimes you wonder, like, when you see your friends and, them posting pictures with their wives and kids, and you're like, damn, I want that. You try to stay strong and be like, one day it's going to happen. But then you have questions like, well, is it? And if it's not, is it me? So, I mean, you do the work, you ask the questions, you go to therapy if you need to, you get counsel from friends, whether it's good advice or not.
Don't listen to Brian.
Oh,
No, I'm just saying, but
Oh, shots fired.
What the fuck?
but no,
God damn.
What just happened here?
no, seriously, you
because
really
we know away from this mic. We know how
yeah,
to
we
talk
know
shit.
it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you go to your friends that's married, you hear the good parts, the bad parts, and most of them gonna tell you like, don't rush into this. So it's just like, you take it as it comes, and
It has absolutely got to
hopefully
feel
that
right for
time
you.
will arrive.
There you go.
Facts.
Do you, okay, so one of the, I know Brian was about to come in with some
Uh-oh.
philosophical ass question, but
No. Do you
for
think?
both the men, right?
This is why you co-host.
One of the things I've always heard and on some level believe that a man gets married when they just decide they're gonna get married, right? And I'm asking the honesty of that, right? Like, a man wakes up one day, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna get married, and like 6 months later, whoever walks into his life is who he gets married to.
No.
Now, me and you have had this
No,
conversation.
I've heard that from a lot of men.
Yeah.
I don't
Yes.
think that's true. I think what happens is a man learns or comes to the reckoning that marriage is intentional.
Mm.
It's not a fly by the wind type of thing. Now, I've been through that process where, your mom would tell you, baby, you'll know. And it wasn't until like I talked to some of my friends, it was like, you got to be intentional about marriage.
Mm.
Like, you have to make that decision. Like, this is what you're going to do. It's not just going to happen.
Yes, and though, what
But
you're
it's not the
saying-
next person, though. It's the next person you feel you
The
could do that with.
The person.
But
Right.
is it
Not the
though?
person.
Because I've heard from many married men that the woman that they married, that they dated lots of wonderful women that
Sure.
they could have married.
Absolutely.
Right. True.
That's
But the woman that they actually married was the woman that was around when they were ready to get. It was the great
When
woman
they made
out
it,
of the many great women that were around when they were actually ready to get married.
when they made the decision
didn't-
or created the idea of intentionality,
That's right.
right, to then get married,
That's
and the
right.
woman that was there.
I think
got
it's
married.
I think it's both and.
It could be
'cause I
defined.
think it's from all of those, the culmination of all of those relationships, and it's the learning experience, and the light bulb goes off, I guess, for them, and they say, I got this thing now. It's a moment of enlightenment,
Mhm.
and that's when they decide they are going to take that step.
And to your point, I think it's both and. And
Mhm.
to your point, I think it's not just all right, I'm ready to get married, and I met another good girl, and now I'm gonna marry her, despite all her flaws or any of our insecurities as a couple. And I'm just ready to get married, so she seems cool, and I'm gonna do that. That's not necessarily the case. I think what happens is, I think men, and they do, and I will be the first man to say that most men trifle through a lot of good women. They do.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
They trifle
Clearly
through
into the mic.
a lot of good women when they're not ready to be in any serious committed relationships. And that's not that they intend to do it. I just think that women in general tend to be better than men when it comes to serious committed relationships.
You know, Chris's head just exploded.
I don't give a fuck about Chris.
So,
So
hey, Chris, how you doing?
what's up, Chris? Love you. So
Is that a troll?
Yes. So there is a point in time that you love you, Chris. There's a point in time where as men you do kind of mature or have been through enough relationships or have figured out who you are as a person and what you're ready to do, that you say, all right, I can look at how I move and the women that I'm dealing with more, somebody said this earlier, intentionally. And that doesn't mean that the very next person I date that's a cool, great woman I'm going to marry.
Right.
But the next person I know that I meet that could be my wife, I'm going to take that relationship more seriously than I did when I was 25.
Right.
Because now I'm 35. So, yes, I think that there is a correlation between the two, but I don't think it's necessarily just the next nice motherfucker I meet, I'm going to marry.
The next one that walks through
I mean,
the door.
it totally could be optics, right? Because you obviously don't see what everybody goes through. You just like they wake up one day, 2 months later, they with this girl and they marry her 6 months later. But optically, it just looks like the next bitch that just walked in, boom, you married her.
The next right one.
I'm just saying optically what it looks like.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm expressing the right one walked in the door when I was ready to accept her.
Yep.
That's all.
And that's why I feel like men have more options, because I don't know a lot of women that could be like the next right man that walks through the door. I'm not saying
Because
that
it's
doesn't
also,
exist.
we were taught it's also not our place to do the engaging, right? We're not the ones.
Maybe not do the engaging, but you do the choosing.
Yeah. But I'm just saying.
They actually they don't do the choosing.
No, excuse me.
They do the second part of the choosing.
Yeah, they say yes or no.
But
Yes
we
or
do
no
the
to
but we
what?
do the original choosing.
Yes or no to what?
Anything. A date,
Okay.
Right.
get your
Yes or no.
number,
Okay.
Getting
It's
married.
exchanging Facebook or Instagram profiles, whatever it is.
So at the beginning of the
we have to step to you.
okay.
So what I'm saying is,
But
right,
you got
like
the final no. That's
you got the final. You all always have the final no, but you don't have the initial yes. Oh,
Mm.
excuse me, let me rephrase that. You have the initial yes. You don't have the initial interaction or step to.
right.
Okay.
You could. You just turn down doing it.
Right.
We've done this show already.
I'm just
Yeah.
reiterating the point. That's all I'm saying.
Drop the handkerchief, ladies. I'm gonna give you the summation. Drop your handkerchief.
Drop your
Done.
handkerchief. Let me
Yeah,
know.
say
Let me-
hello.
Let me
Bump
know
into
you got
somebody.
interest.
It's scary. We've talked about
Nice
this already.
shoes.
I'm in.
I'm-
I'm all
I'm
in
on-
with nice shoes.
If I'm on, I'm on. That's all I need. Only need an entry point.
Lord.
All right, we are almost coming up on time, but let me ask you all this. If I was about to wrap it, but I have to ask this because this is a conversation we had earlier, and I'm curious to everybody's opinions on this. Jake, we're not gonna go that far, I swear to God. on the pyramid, excuse me, of dating or happiness, rather, I should say. I was told that at the very tippy top of the pyramid of happiness, there were single women and married men.
Okay.
Married men, single women.
Oh, there's
We're talking about it's a pyramid. It can't be two at top. Got to be one at the top.
okay. So what's at the top?
This is why we
Married
can't. This is
men.
why we're
Married
not
men
married
are the
guys.
happiest, and single women are right after them.
I guess they're a close second. I don't know. I didn't see this pyramid. So
I
can't
believe
answer
that's what was said.
That's what was said.
I thought that's what was said. Yeah.
Fair. You know what? That makes for a better conversation. So married men are at the top of the happiness of life pyramid, and single women are not too far behind them. And I don't know where married women fall or single men. We can have that conversation.
I don't know, but that was the conversation that
But
married men and single women are the
I
happiest.
don't see any parts of this pyramid.
I've never seen this pyramid.
I've never seen this pyramid, but I'm
haven't.
going to give you the 4 categories. There are married men.
Rachel fact checking.
She's like, we gonna see.
Right, Google.
We were sitting in the same conversation.
There are married men. There are single women. There are single men, and then single women. Those are your 4 categories,
is
and
a
those
to-
are the 4
It's a
hierarchies.
total
No,
poll.
it's married.
Fine.
It's
Okay.
married
Uh-oh.
men, single women,
That's what I just said.
single men, married women.
Yes.
I thought you said that.
Oh, my bad. I
differently.
said that wrong. My
Yes,
bad.
you
My
did.
bad.
So
My bad.
married
That
women are
was-
at
It's
the
a totem
bottom.
pole. That's
Married
better
women
than,
are at
yes.
the bottom.
I didn't hear the pyramid part because I was part
Yes,
of the
married
conversation.
women are at the bottom.
Yes.
Sure, I don't.
Mm.
Y'all swear.
I want reactions to this.
So the marriage at the top, marriage at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
Because it speaks to
'Cause
what
it's-
do men get out of marriage versus women.
According to them, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Nobody said that. Stop
It's been said on this show before, and I
it. It
heard
has not.
It's
It has not.
absolutely been said in the
Good talk.
comments, and it's been said in I don't know how many posts. Men get nothing out of marriage.
That-
Matter of fact, I'm betting you the comments gonna come up real shortly. Men get absolutely nothing.
Gentlemen, put in the comments if you and I know you're watching, so stop it. Do we get things out of marriage? Yes or no? Don't give me what we get. Yes or no? Jatan, start us off. You heard the totem pole, as
Oh.
Jamil appropriately said.
I hate this pyramid. I'm sorry.
It's a totem pole. It's not
It's
a
a totem
pyramid.
pole.
Oh, the totem pole.
Totem pole.
What's the difference?
I hate however this is built. This is horrible.
You gotta soak it in.
It's a lot for me to take in right now.
All right, let's start with the people that were in the conversation when we were having it. Rachel, I'm gonna put it on you.
Break this down
Boom,
for
boom,
me.
boom. Let's talk about it.
So the logic was that married men kind of get to have their cake and eat it too, in terms of things being taken care of at home and most likely probably out in them streets playing a little
Which
bit.
explains why married women are at the bottom.
That's correct.
Okay.
Then single women being the next notch on the belt, don't have to put up with the shenanigans of their men being happily married men out in these streets playing, and get to go
This
out
is
and
not
have
any
fun
of the conversation we
themselves.
had earlier, by the way.
Well,
This is
just to
how
be-
I interpreted it. Did you not ask me?
I did. I'm just making sure we
Okay.
stated that if we had gone here, I would never have started this conversation. I'm sorry.
This is how I interpreted
Proceed.
Go ahead.
it. Because she came to these conclusions with very strong, like, gusto.
She did.
Okay. And then what would be the third one?
single man.
Single
men.
men. Right. So equally probably happy as single women, but don't have the benefit of a woman taking care of
A
home.
married man.
And then married women being at home taking care of
Unhappy.
everything and don't get to have any of the fun.
Oh.
That I think that's what I got out of our conversation. That was kind of the theme.
Do you agree with this?
I think I do. I think I do.
So married women are
You
at
know
the
what?
bottom of the. Hold on, come on, Jatan.
Whew.
You said that has been broken down.
Now that you broke that thing down the way it needs to be broken down,
Yes.
you might be right.
Oh.
You might be right. Because I'm not.
She doesn't hate that totem pole so much anymore.
I'm not unhappy, but I'm not the happiest, so I can't be at the top, right? And then less responsibility. You know, responsibility plagues so many people. Oh, I gotta do this, but it's your responsibility. It's a priority.
That's what you
But
signed
I
up
gotta
for.
do. And when you don't want it, you get to just be free, right? So you get to just wander somewhere in the middle. So yeah, I agree with the pyramid now. The totem pole.
Oh, it didn't take much convincing.
Right.
Not at all.
No,
Chantel?
no, I'm sitting here thinking about all of the things, but I can't go into all of that.
Chantel?
Here's what. Okay, so just so we all on the same plane. I've only been one of these 4 categories, right? I read an article that said this, right? That married men and single women are the happiest. I think I can see. I don't know if I necessarily agree, since I've only been in one category, right? But I can see why that's true. I can see why married men are the happiest, right? They do have somebody to look after them. They have somebody to help their schedules. They have somebody to bounce ideas off of. Like they have that partnership there
I see you
to help foster them. And
Everybody on camera can't.
just to add on to that, if we've also read studies where most CEOs are married, and they intentionally got married because they understood that they needed that partnership to help push their careers forward. Again, articles I did not write, but I have read. So I'm just going off of what I have read, right? Mm-hmm. I think single women, and Jen actually said this in the comments, right, that we need to caveat this with divorced women. I don't know if that caveat is necessary or not, but let's just say that, right? Divorced women, they've gone.
She falls in the category of single.
They have. They've
divorced.
Cared for a man. They've gone through, and it's not just caring for the man, right? It's caring for everybody in the household.
She got a badge.
Of what? Of being divorced?
Being married.
Yeah.
She got the married badge.
Yes, forever. You know what?
Right here.
Wives. One of the things that I think women talk about, right, is wives take care of everybody in the household. That does not mean that the men don't take care of what they need to take care of, right? I just want to be very clear before I get bullets that I didn't say that. But women take care of everyone in the household, from the schedules, from everybody being sick, from managing this, that, and the third. Like, rub your head off you want to. I'll call Allison right now.
My contact was floating.
But most women are nurturing.
But these things are true. Well, let me not say true. There are articles and studies to support what I'm saying, right? That is the load that women carry. And they do it willingly because they know it needs to be done. Not negating that men don't take care of whatever they take care of. And I'm not saying that to be flippant, but I'm saying it as men have their portion. But women do take care of everyone in the household. Yes.
What you got, Amber?
Amber been real quiet. And you know what? I love that we've had a studio audience the whole for 2 weeks in a row. We need to do this every week.
But wait,
because what's happening over here is hilarious.
But Amber is over there by church choir by amen.
What you want to say?
No, I was just.
But anyway,
I want to hear if she had something though to contribute to that.
But yeah, so single men, they don't have all that, right? They don't have that support system. They don't have the person taking care of them. They don't have that. They have to do that for themselves. Not saying that they hate it, not saying that they are bad at it, but they don't have the support to do that. And married women, we already talked about them. They take care of everything. It is what it is. And that's stressful. And I'm sure there are women who love it. But there is there's stress induced with having to care of everybody in the household. Sorry. You just asked me a goddamn question. What you rubbing your head for?
I'm not. I'm just listening.
Now, what you were going to say, I just think it's framed that way too because society or otherwise, we are supposed to be the nurturers by nature, right?
Right.
So that means we take care of things. That's all I was saying.
And I mean,
I'm away, Chris. I just can't. Half of this shit is okay.
And let's be honest here. I think if we're totally being honest, the kids and the husbands do expect that the wives are going to do that. I mean, that's just quite frankly the truth of the matter. You're going to expect her to stay home when your ass is sick and the kids are sick. You're going to expect her to do a lot of shifting and movement for the family. Again, not saying men don't.
But as being man and head of the household, wouldn't you much prefer to, like, if the kid is sick, her stay home and you go to work to provide for the house? Is that no? I'm just asking.
No. What difference does that make?
Okay, so other flip it around. So you're okay with? I'll just go ahead, honey. Do it. You're a rare man, though. It's not too many.
They keep saying this to me, Jamil. I don't believe that is that rare. I just don't.
What husband is gonna say no? I'm not staying home with my sick kids.
Oh, I can introduce you.
Oh, you want to meet some?
Never mind.
You want to meet some?
Maybe we're unicorns.
Man,
We're two unicorns, girl. I don't know.
I'm not saying you got a
No, because
unicorn.
let's rephrase this a
The
different
ones
way.
It sounds like it. It sounds like we're
the
unicorns.
patriarchal
rephrase this a
way of
different
living.
way.
That's how they feel. Like the women
Allison
take
goes
care.
out of town 2
Uh-huh.
weeks,
Cool.
3 weeks, a
Cool.
month.
Cool.
She comes back home.
Uh-huh.
You ain't like, thank God, mom is back.
You goddamn.
Exactly.
but Allison
Over-
ain't-
Wait,
Allison ain't gonna be
overnight.
like that
What are we
in
talking
return.
about? Yeah, you damn right. I
Allison
am.
not gonna be like that in return.
Exactly my point.
Not if her
I'm
load is the
saying
same.
It won't
it's
be the
not
same.
It's
It
not
won't
as guaranteed that
be
Allison feels that way.
the same.
Because
Allison,
grabbing
are
her
you still
bag-
watching? I want
Allison
you. I
grabbing
want
her
you
bag
to,
and walking right out the door as soon as he walking out.
Allison, if you still watching, say something
And
in the chat.
rightfully
boys.
so.
We not saying
I'm not
that.
complaining.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Now, my baby daddy is very involved. He does pickups, he does drop-offs. If I need him to do something, he fucking does it. I'm just gonna be honest. When he goes out of town and he comes back, my life does not change at all.
It does not change?
No, the load is still the same. I appreciate him. I appreciate what he does. I appreciate that when I need something, he gets it done. But am I like, oh my God, thank you so much, you're back? No,
So let me
my
ask
life
you
is
this.
exactly
Let
the
me ask you
same.
this.
Yes.
I can't argue.
Have you asked him to do more and he refused?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
That's absolutely happened.
As soon as it comes up, I was like, don't ask that question. Don't
I
ask that
wouldn't
question.
say no.
Don't ask that question.
Because he know.
Let me write that
I be
down. for
fucking
Sean.
pissed off like, and this nigga. Yeah.
Hold
So
on.
then we can agree that maybe not 100% of the time, but often men might get more out of marriage than women do.
I will say this. I think, and if I'm being, not we, me, I can speak for me. If I'm being 100% honest, yes. 100% honesty, particularly if kids are involved. Absolutely. There is a mothering, nurturing, to Sean's point earlier, instinct that while we might have it, you all have it in a different way. Most men, if we're being honest, most of the men watching the show right now, you're not making doctor's appointments. You're not making dentist appointments. You're not doing, I'm not saying you're not doing homework. You're probably doing some homework, but you're probably not making lunches. You're not, I mean, you might occasionally do this, that, and the other. I'm not saying we don't pitch in. I'm not saying we're not doing our part. I'm not saying we're not doing the things that, you know, that matter. But what I'm saying is when it comes to the care and the nurturing of the children, the mother generally is taking more of that load. That's a fact. And we might underestimate how much and how taxing that is on a woman. So when you come home and your ass, you done worked hard all day, so is she probably,
Right.
and she's lifting most of that weight, and then you in the bed looking like, what's up, baby? And she's like, I'm exhausted. Fuck you and your dick. Don't be mad. Don't misunderstand it because you didn't do as much as she did that day. I am 1,000% in agreement of this.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
I still want to fuck though.
Dag, well, just when I was gonna say growth.
He be making them 3 steps forward and 5 steps back. It's
One step back.
Okay, fine.
But I do 100% agree with that, and I don't disagree with anything you just said. But we have not talked to my man Jamil about the totem pole.
Well, Jamila, I mean, just ask.
Jamil, you still here?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was responding to
He
a
in the goddamn
comment.
comments.
Oh, he reading the comments.
Just respond.
We
Just
were just
ask.
saying-
Jamila.
Yeah,
That's all
no.
I'm
So
saying.
Jamil, on the totem pole, we got, according to the ladies, we've got married men,
Mhm.
single women,
Single man,
single men,
married women.
married women. Does that seem right to you?
Well, I've never been at the top, so I don't know how it feels to be up there.
Let me tell you what. It's awesome.
He been there twice.
Right. I've never looked down at the
It's
people.
amazing.
You went up and never went back.
I've only been on the
No.
second.
I went up, fell down, ran my ass back up.
I've only been on the second floor, so
No, second floor is single women. You want to be on the third floor.
You're on the third floor, baby.
Third
Wait.
floor. Married men, single women.
No. He's second floor.
Second floor.
Second floor.
Bottom
Married
floor,
men,
Oh.
single women. No. Married men, single women, single
Single
men,
men.
married women.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
third floor.
Oh, no,
Third
second-
floor.
I know.
Third floor.
Third floor.
Are we going up? Never mind.
You know what?
I've never been on
second
the
floor.
top.
You're right. Second floor.
Second floor. I've
Yeah.
never been on the top. I only been one step up in the totem pole. So I don't know. That's an interesting question. I really don't know how to address it. I mean, the way I would think things would go, I hope my wife wouldn't feel that she's at the bottom of the totem pole. Like, hopefully she'll be released second form. I don't
Remember,
wanna feel like the
we're
bottom.
gauging happiness. We're not
Right.
gauging like.
Can we
value,
be in a
happiness.
motherfucking a duplex, right? Can it be me and you? I can stand being up here, but you can't be all the way at the bottom. Can you?
Right, you can't be at the bottom.
Can you be? Can I be a 1A and you 1B? What the hell's happening?
But no, it's an interesting concept. I would hate to think that married women feel that way, and to Jamila's point, or Sean's point, feeling like they don't get the help, and I think Jamila brought up a point about men not intrinsically knowing what needs to be done. But that's when you got to speak up. That's what you got a partner for. Like, that's how I vision my marriage. If you need help and I don't see it, just tell me.
Oh shit!
Like, I'm gonna try to help.
Time she speaks up, you will call her a nag.
No, I won't.
Here's what I'm gonna say. While I appreciate what you're saying,
love it.
right?
Say what the fuck we talking about.
I appreciate that,
Uh-oh.
but
Uh-oh.
and I can see your point, right? I want to be totally
don't
fair.
bring your experiences into my.
No. What I'm gonna say is this: it's far more helpful for you to take things off my plate without
Whoa! Before we
the
go
guidance,
there,
than for me to be like,
so that,
I'm overwhelmed. Please help.
So
me.
that's a great point. So
Yes.
here's what I want to say. I've been meaning to say this all night. This was on my notes when you sent the original list of topics that we
questions,
never
right.
talked about.
Welcome to In the Zone podcast.
But
Say we about to go a little bit over, baby.
relationships.
I know that's 2 weeks in a row, but excuse us.
Relationships are learned behavior.
Yes,
I have to learn what you need. I may not intrinsically know it,
fair.
but after you point it out, then I could do something about it. If you just sit up there, this motherfucker don't do shit. I'm tired of that. I've been wanting him. He should. No, because women are good for saying he should know, but maybe he doesn't know. So you should judge a man after you tell him what you need and whether he steps up or not whether he knew or not. There are two different things.
That's fair.
That's fair.
That's all I'm
fair.
I
saying.
would take that a step further.
Uh-oh.
No, take a
Oh,
step further.
Jesus. Oh,
I would
Lord.
take that a step further.
Here we go. Lord
Just
have
because you told me what you wanted, I'm good with that. Just because you told me how
Tell me
exactly
you
you
gonna
wanted me to
Tell
do
me
it,
you gonna do it.
doesn't mean I'm going to do it exactly how you wanted me to do it. And if I did it and it wasn't exactly how you
You're
wanted me to
liking.
do it, shut the fuck up.
But let's rewind a minute because I feel like we jumped a few steps ahead.
That was fucking personal.
That was life. And I think every man knows what the hell I'm talking about. And it was personal.
The top of the pyramid has spoken.
Jesus,
Go
Christ.
ahead.
So I feel like both things can be true. On one side of the spectrum, kind of where this topic initially was brought up was at the end of the day, as a busy mom who is maybe trying to juggle a career and the majority of the household or more of the household than the man is juggling, because we've already kind of aligned on that's likely the case. Not always, but likely. When you want to help, you asking me to project manage how you're going to help me doesn't help me. I need you to understand the needs of the household and to be able to just jump in and help without my direction. I ain't got time to train you how to help me.
Yikes. Shots fired.
Because,
Pow, pow.
because at the end of the day, we're both in this together. So if I was able to figure it out, how were you not able to
innately
figure
know
it
how
out?
to figure it out.
Why am I innately know
Wait
how
a minute,
to figure
Jamil.
it
If a
out?
baby is crying, we have the same level of data at that
No, you
point.
don't you know the cry? You know which
You don't
know
hear the baby
difference between
cry?
cries,
You
right?
don't.
You
If
innately
you-
know the
if
difference.
you don't
I
know
have to
the
learn.
cries,
Jamil,
it's because
Jamil
you
just
weren't paying attention.
left himself out on the ledge. I can't help him with that one.
No.
I'm
No.
crying. Did you know the cries?
He learned the cry.
Just like
That's
I
what
did.
we're
I
Just
didn't
like-
wake up
just
knowing
like
the
they
cries.
did.
That's what we're
Just
saying.
like they
you
did.
have
Don't
to
wake up
do.
knowing the
Yeah,
You
cries.
have to pay attention
you went
and
left on
that
decide
one.
what are the needs.
Right. And if you don't
And
see
that doesn't mean that as a family unit, we can't sit down and discuss what that looks like at a time when things aren't on 1,000.
So
But at
then
a
why do
time
you
when
say
things
you
are
ain't
at
got time to
1,000, I
train
need you to
nobody?
be able to jump in and actually support.
Here's where I push back on that, and I agree with you. Here's where I push back. My pushback is, yes, you'd love for me to just be like, I see the fridge is empty and I need to go to the grocery store and get this, that, and the other. But if I don't get the exact right this, that, and the other,
It's a
and I
problem.
get a fucking Lunchable when I should have got a goddamn fruit snack or whatever the case may be, now not only do I not get points, and we always adding up these points
Right.
for what I did, now I'm getting shot down for the shit I did wrong.
Right.
And it's not a help to me if you don't do it exactly the way I would have done it.
Right.
Because it ain't like you've been in this fucking house 10 years like I have, but I digress.
Baby, I don't like the way you've done it.
Say that.
I'm an example of your direction.
I just did by the way I grocery shop.
Communicate better.
Right.
Communicate better.
I did.
I don't like this brand of cheese.
And this is what you're getting because I always liked it and you stopped buying the shit.
Like I said,
I didn't tell you about Sargento.
Sargento, that shit. But my point is, and I get what you're saying. You want us to jump in, you want us to help. You don't. Telling us what to do is not always.
not in the middle of the fire. That doesn't mean we can't have a conversation not in the middle of the fire of expectations of this is our shared grocery list and we put something on Alexa whenever something runs out or whatever. We can come up with how to organize the house, but you need to be an active participant in that. So when shit gets crazy, I don't need to tell you step by step what to do to help alleviate the crazy.
I get
What?
that.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Oh, Jesus, yes.
Oh,
Please.
I told you what's going on, Jake. I'm sorry. It's my bad.
Sorry,
Jake's
Jay.
never going home.
sorry. Jay.
What is this thing with women and I don't need to, I shouldn't
What do
in
you mean?
relationships? I don't need to
shouldn't
tell
have to.
you. I shouldn't have to. I don't need to tell you. You should just jump in. What is it with that? No man ever says I shouldn't have to tell my wife how to do
that's so
something.
much.
Already done.
Oh, wait. I got the
That's
answer.
already
Ooh, you want to give me the answer? Because we fucking pay attention and we figure that shit out and get your shit done without you saying a
And also,
goddamn
I have
word.
met 1,000 men that have told me
It's
that.
already done.
Like your
You
favorite
met 1,000
brand of
men that
hot
told you
sauce is in the fucking house.
Yes.
Your favorite brand of soap wash also in the house. When I all of a sudden like, oh, his favorite oranges, it's 2 of them left. Let me go to the store buy 9 more so that nigga's ready. Like,
Are
that's
you really doing that?
Let me hold on.
I give you a phone number. You can ask his ass.
Hold on. While that might be true, I don't disagree with that in principle. I will also say this: we typically don't really give a fuck. If I use Axe and you bought Old Spice, I use that shit and I'm good with it.
Exactly.
But that's not.
No,
the point.
that is the point.
That's
That
not
is
the point.
exactly the point. If you use Axe and I bought Old Spice, you act like your whole goddamn body gonna break out because I bought a different body wash.
Maybe
And maybe
it
it will.
will.
But what I'm saying is we are mad more flexible about, like, you know what? My baby bought me some body wash.
Here's
Good.
I'm good.
and I'm gonna give a shout out to Chris the Critic, even though we talked about him before. I said this on his show a couple of weeks ago, and I think this is the part that's missing a lot in relationships, right? I am a firm believer that everybody needs to come to the table wanting to care for the other person,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And if you don't be intentional, if you are not observant, you are not attempting to care for that person.
She said if
everything
you
is
don't-
not obvious.
Wait, she said if you
I didn't
don't
say-
be,
I didn't
you know
say-
she been.
I
You
She
didn't-
said
said
if you
observant,
don't
which
be.
means you should figure it out. Everything is not.
Did I say you have to figure everything out? I said you have to
That's-
be intentional.
That's why we're having this conversation,
You
because you're
can't-
saying this, he should know. He should figure it out.
Stop.
Goddamn.
That's it.
Don't try to change it up.
Communication. Just communicate.
That's
Just
all I'm
communicate.
saying.
Just communicate.
My Sagittarius cousin over there.
All I'm
she
saying
understands.
Just communicate.
is everybody needs to come to the table wanting to care for
And
someone.
also, I don't
And
know
part
a
of
woman
that
that's going to be like, babe, can you pick me up some deodorant and not be like exact?
Well,
I know
wait,
you
now
like
wait,
the
now,
same.
that's not true.
Not after we get the wrong deodorant. You know?
I mean, I wouldn't. I'm going to be exact. However, I'm going to be expectant.
I mean, we can't
after
even-
that first time that you know what I need if it
Fair.
happens again,
Fair.
and vice versa.
Fair.
Like I would
Or
hold
call me
myself
if
to the
they're out of my
same
brand.
standard.
Ask me what other kind I might like. Just those types of things.
all I'm saying is
Communication.
Communication. That's
a
all
lot
I'm
of what's
asking.
missing in this conversation is somebody going in with the intention to care for somebody.
That's
Wait,
it.
how?
That's, but that's
Hold on, I
not
wanna-
the same.
I want
That is
to
not
point
the
something
same.
out. Then I want Jamil go
I
ahead.
didn't
Hold
say
on, wait. I want to point out that Chris the Critic just pointed out, just shout out on himself. You
Oh,
are the worst motherfucker ever, Chris.
I was gonna let that go.
I am not. There's a lot of shit I let go. Shout out yourself, I will call out. What are you saying, Jamil? Though? You said
No, I'm just saying that is not the point, that people don't go into relationships trying to care for someone. They want to care for you. They may not know every way to care for you.
Some people just don't know how to. You
And some
got to
people,
teach them. You got to communicate with them. It's a
and
learning
that's all I'm
experience.
saying. So
all of
stop
those
stop the should, stop you need to. Sit down and talk to him. And if he don't, then you can make that decision. Like, he don't do what I asked him to do.
Rachel
I
don't
get
agree
it.
with none of that shit. Go ahead, Rachel.
Rachel don't care. She like,
No, Rachel like this
you need
nigga.
to come
No,
in. No,
Rachel like you
No.
full of shit.
read
Rachel
my
knows-
LinkedIn. Read
Rachel
my bio.
knows, though,
Coming in here.
if he doesn't do it, she's like, okay, I don't expect this from him. I have no expectation from him, and I will move on. And I will move on
And
accordingly.
then you can level set. Is this something I can deal with, or is this something I can't deal with?
There you go.
I would hope the brand of deodorant would
No,
not be a
but
deal
no,
breaker.
No, we're not talking about that.
No,
What we talking about?
but
No, it's just about the skill set of being aware and being present and paying attention.
That's it.
Everybody
And
don't
that's
have
And
the
that
same
shows up
level
in
of
lots of
proficiency.
different aspects of a
Jamil,
relationship.
I call
Your
bullshit
job.
Everybody doesn't have the
Yeah.
same level of proficiency.
because people are able to do it across vast pieces of their lives.
What
right?
people? Detectives?
oh shit.
No, I'm just asking. What people? Psychologists?
Out of that.
No, people
Or
can.
do you expect
people-
your mailman to
People
do that?
show
I'm just-
intent and care in certain parts of their lives. That's
No,
just true. That's
I
just the truth of the
agree.
matter.
I agree.
Right, and we choose what areas in our lives we want to show that intention and care for, and that's just the truth of the matter.
Intention has nothing to do with knowledge. I could be the most intentional person, go out here and kill somebody, and they say, well, you killed them outside, and this is the reason you broke the law.
What the hell does that have?
Ignorance to the
All right.
law is not the excuse.
All right, we ending this show because now we done jumped the shark on this.
All right, maybe that was a bad example.
That was an awful example.
All right, I'll
That
take
jumped
that.
on the
Awful
motherfucking shark.
example.
Terrible example. But I'm just saying, you can have good intentions and not necessarily do it with the most
What
knowledgeable
if?
way.
What? Nope, I'm not doing this. Never mind.
Oh
Never
God.
mind.
We
Jake
are
ready to
closing
go.
this
Yeah,
show.
Because I was about to go. Y'all don't want this kind of
Close
conversation.
the
I was about to
show.
have.
Home bonds closed out. Don't do it.
Whatever you say. Never mind. No. All right. Hey, thank you guys for watching. Thank all of my guests for being on. This was actually an extremely interesting conversation. And I'm going to circle around. If anybody has any last thoughts about anything we discussed, anything you want to say, any advice you want to give to our listeners, I'm going to give you a minute to have that conversation. Jatan, I'm going to start with you.
Vote.
Done.
Wow.
I ain't mad at that. Jamil.
To vote for your judges, research your judges, and vote for them.
Because there's a lot of them.
Local elections matter more than the national ones. I ain't mad at
And
that.
communicate in your relationships.
No, fair.
Communication. Yes.
Rachel?
I would say that love is hard, relationships are hard, but they can also be wonderful and beautiful. And that if that's something that you want, to focus on investing in yourself, and you'll attract that same person.
Sean?
Trying to be concise here. I think if
Nuh-uh. Ramble.
my name is not. Never mind.
I know too.
I think if people come to relationship with the same care, concern, and intention that they do, I think we'd find ourselves in better spots in relationships. So that's what I would encourage people to just come to relationships with care and concern. That's
That's
it.
concise as shit.
I said I was gonna be concise.
Wow. We are a little over. That's super concise. First thing, women, suck some dick. All right? Hold on.
Wow.
I promise I will.
Michael,
I will make sure he doesn't drink this much for the next show. I'm sorry.
I've been drinking it. Hold on, what's in this tequila bottle? Nothing. All right, no, all right. I was kidding, but not really. What's interesting to me though is this the totem pole that we talked about earlier, which I think really encapsulates a lot of what we were discussing, and a lot of how men and women see this thing differently. How we move when we're at a certain age, how we date, no matter what age we're in. I'll say this: I think everything requires intentionality. I think every relationship requires you being real with yourself. Take a look in the mirror and really deep down dive into who you are, what you really want, and how you want to move forward. And don't put unrealistic expectations on yourself or anyone else when it comes to relationships. Don't listen to what society says. Don't listen to what your mama told you you're supposed to do. really deep dive into who you are and how you want to move, and be honest about that with yourself and whoever it is you decide to get in a relationship with. And I think everybody will be happier with the outcomes. In the Zone podcast, we will see you next Wednesday. Holla at y'all later.
Podcast. In the Zone. 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 Podcast. In the Zone.